pride, you're oppressing me and my sapiosexual identity. Sharon, you must know that these are not valid orientations and genders. Oh yeah? Why not, huh? Why can't I be exclusively attracted to smart people? There's no need to be hyper-specific about every single part of your identity, as it just adds to the confusion faced by many valid LGBT members. Okay, so I'm still heterosexual, but what about my plant gender? This is Jeremy, my most favorite plant. We are both plant gender. How dare you invalidate us? Do I really even have to explain this one? Why can't I be a plant? Though it is true that gender isn't binary, that doesn't mean that it is fluid. There are only 3 possibilities for gender identity, regardless of whether you're trans or not. You can be female, male, or plant. Sharon, no! Non-binary. Gender is based on your brain structure and psychological makeup, and it is simply not possible for you to be anything other than human, dog. But I'm not hurting anyone. Why can't you just let Jeremy and me be our plant selves? If we start adding all these new identities that aren't scientifically possible to the mix, it makes it more difficult for those skeptics who don't fully understand the community to accept the real sexualities and gender identities that do exist.
There is also the psychological aspect that is in favor of there being non-binary people. You mean dysphoria? Bingo! Gender dysphoria is a mental disorder that comes with being transgender. Non-binary people also have this gender dysphoria, meaning that their gender doesn't match the biological sex they were assigned at birth. In order to alleviate this discomfort, non-binary people will go by gender-neutral pronouns, they, them, and possibly dress in a more androgynous. Did you say that you don't need gender dysphoria to be trans? Oh no, not this again. I'm Kai, the non-dysphoric trans guy, and you can't stop me from being trans just because I don't have dysphoria. In fact, today my doctor finally approved me to go on hormones, so I can finally transition into the real, super fun guy me. Kai, did you just say you're going on hormones? Yeah, it's like what you do when you're trans. I would know because I'm trans. My doctor wouldn't let me go on hormones because I didn't have dysphoria, but I just lied and said I did, so now I'm getting them. Isn't that so quirky cool?
Intruder alert, intruder alert, intruder alert.
Alex, what are you doing here? You're intruding in a private public group therapy session. I'm not the intruder here. She is. What are you talking about? I'm Kai, the non-dysphoric trans guy. Kai, I'm here to warn you before it's too late. What could go wrong if I took testosterone? First of all, when someone who isn't trans goes on hormones, they're using up valuable trans resources that cost insurance companies a lot of money. Plus, if people who don't have dysphoria start taking hormones, then insurance companies will stop paying for them because they aren't seen as a medical necessity. Even though for people like me, or trans guys with debilitating dysphoria, they really are needed. Well, what if I just pay for the hormones myself? You know, it's not bad. I'm not stealing from anyone. You can get hormones too. Nothing bad is gonna happen to me. That's where you're wrong. You see, someone who doesn't have dysphoria isn't actually transgender. They're just cisgender, meaning that they identify with the same gender as the sex they were assigned at birth. So if someone who is a cis girl like Kai over here goes through steps to change their gender by transitioning with medical hormones like testosterone, this will then give Kai dysphoria because Kai, a girl, will have the characteristics of a guy and will feel bad about herself and have to detransition, which is a very costly procedure that often doesn't work out completely. So basically, when someone who is non-dysphoric goes through transitioning, they're not only hurting the trans community, but they're hurting themselves and whoever has to pay for this whole thing. I won't get dysphoria as a boy. Even though I don't have dysphoria now, I like acting and looking like a boy.
Another reason that I didn't include ace and aro people in my video.
Don't even think about it.
Unpopular opinion here, but being asexual, or aromantic for that matter, doesn't automatically make someone a part of the LGBT community.
Uh-oh boys, we got ourselves an exclusionist here.
And asexual and aromantic people are not systematically oppressed.
Excuse me, we're totally oppressed. I had a guy that wouldn't date me once he found out I was asexual.
What you need to understand is that just because someone faces interpersonal challenges because they're a part of a certain group, it doesn't mean that the whole group is institutionally oppressed by all of society. There have never been laws in place that make it illegal for asexuals to be in relationships. Ace people aren't actively being murdered because of their lack of a sexuality. And asexuals aren't being forced to have intercourse in order to change them into allosexuals, or people who have sexual attraction. All in all, yes, asexuals face struggles in life, but these struggles are not perpetrated on a societal level in a way where asexuals are being actively discriminated against by a large group of people.
That does make sense, I guess. But then who even is in the community if it's so exclusive?
It isn't exclusive at all. The LGBT community has two main criteria to be in the club. Do you experience same-gender attraction, or do you have gender dysphoria?
What? But that excludes so many people.
It actually doesn't if you think about it. All gay, lesbian, bisexual, and pansexual people experience same-gender attraction to some degree. And all people under the transgender umbrella, whether they're binary or non-binary genders, must have gender dysphoria in order to have a brain structure that doesn't match with the biological sex they were assigned at birth. So everyone who should be included, aka everyone who is discriminated against because of who they love or what their gender is included.
Everyone except for asexuals and aromantics. Whatever happened to the LGBTQIA community, huh?
I'll talk about why the Q doesn't fit in another video, and I've already talked about why the I doesn't fit in my video about being transgender. Whoa. Asexuality isn't a spectrum, because you either have a sexual orientation or you don't. Even if you feel just a teensy little bit of sexual attraction, you're still allosexual. Therefore, there's no need for all these confusing, hyper-specific labels that were really just invented to make straight people feel more special. And that's the tease, sis.
Aren't there asexuals that enjoy, doing the nasty?
Oh boy, do we really have to go here? Okay, so this is another big debate, but its answer lies in the definition of sexual attraction. Sexual attraction. Sexual, okay, we get it. Just tell us what it is. Alright. Attraction on the basis of sexual desire or the quality of arousing, such interest. So basically, sexual attraction is wanting to do the nasty and enjoying it. Now, I get if you're just doing it to make your partner happy, which is totally valid, by the way, but if you do the nasty because you want to and you enjoy it, then isn't that kind of the whole point of having sexual attraction?
So I'm guessing if you're someone who actively does the nasty and enjoys it, then you're not asexual.
Right, like if you're aromantic, why would you date someone if you don't feel romantic attraction?
Okay, I think this answers all of my questions.
Right. What? Are you saying pan people aren't valid? Am I even still part of the LGBT team? Of course you are. People can definitely label themselves as pansexual, but the idea that this orientation is any different from bisexual is incorrect. Nuh-uh, pride. Bi means two, so bi people are attracted to two genders, and pan means all, so pans are attracted to all genders. It's simple English. Actually, if you think about it, the whole idea of being pansexual doesn't make sense. Hey, don't pipe up from the peanut gallery, Millie. Just listen. Your sexual attraction is who you are attracted to, well, sexually. Meaning it's who you want to have a sexual relationship with and why. The who is the gender or genders you are attracted to, and the why is the traits that make that gender or genders sexually attractive to you, aka sex appeal. Ew! Yes, we're all a little young to be thinking about that. But basically, certain characteristics of people give them sex appeal, like their muscles, chest, or even genitalia.
Yuck.
There are only two biological sexes, male and female. Intersex is a genetic disorder, not a biological sex. Bi is just as inclusive as pan. Bisexual means two sexuality, meaning that the origin of the word bisexual comes from a combination of both hetero and homosexual. The prefix hetero usually is defined as meaning opposite, or attraction to the opposite gender, but it can also mean all but your own, or attraction to all genders except your own. If you add that to homo, which means your own, you get all. So bisexual means attraction to all. Puberty begins. So it's perfectly normal to have crushes on people at this age, even if they're the same gender as you. However, it might be a little early for you to start labeling yourself as a specific sexuality just yet. I mean, you do have a lot of years left to live after.
I'm Cynthia and James is my BFF for life. I watched your video on asexuality and I figured out that I'm asexual because doing the nasty sounds nasty.
Behold what you have done, Pride!
Yeah, this may be the one time I actually agree with you, Pamela. It is my belief that kids should not be identifying as asexual.
What's wrong with me calling myself ace? Just because I'm little doesn't mean I don't already know my sexuality.
It kinda does. Though sexual attraction can develop at a young age, it definitely doesn't have to. And it's totally normal to not feel the desire to be in a sexual relationship until you're much, much older. So, while you may already know what gender you're attracted to romantically, just because you aren't sexually attracted to anyone at age 9 doesn't mean you won't ever be.
But what's the harm in calling myself asexual now, even though it might change later?
First of all, it's harmful because it makes it seem like most kids are sexually active at like age 8, which is totally creepy and not true. Plus, sexuality isn't fluid. It's just not possible for your sexuality to change. You're not asexual as a kid, you just haven't developed sexual attraction yet.
And what if I never develop sexual attraction? Huh?
Who knows? You might not, and that's also completely valid. But let's just wait a few more years until you go ahead with labeling yourself asexual.
I guess you're right. I am only 7 after all.
Holy turtles, Cynthia, where is your mother?
Cynthia, come back here this instant!
Coming, Mom!
I think I'm gonna go take some time to learn about bisexual.
Wait up, Mom! I don't know if I want to label myself that just yet. I need a cup of coffee. Or 10. Oh boy, who are you? I'm unique. Okay, I'm sure you are, but what's your name? No, like, my name is literally unique. Man, that's rough, kid. I'm sorry. Do you need therapy for that? No, I'm here to get therapy because, like, everyone I know keeps on misgendering me. I'm so sorry about that. What are your pronouns? Well, mine are snowflake emoji, poop emoji.
What the fluff?
Like, no one in this world respects neopronouns, or pronouns other than he, she, and they. I'm still trying to process the fact that you have emojis as pronouns. It's not like my pronouns are something weird like z, them, or plant self. Oh, please no, not the plant gender thing again. Why can't you just, like, use my emoji pronouns? You do realize that in having these random pronouns, you are making the trans community look like a joke? That's not my problem. Emoji pronouns are fun. Yeah, but there's no linguistic need for them when we already have a gender-neutral pronoun. They. Ugh, they is so last year. If everyone had their own special pronouns, then it would eliminate the whole reason for pronouns in the first place. Just use a nickname. Though, I have to say, your real name is already pretty unique. Okay, like, fine. Thanks a lot, Dr. Pride. Wow, I am quite good at this therapy stuff. Woo! Last patient for the day. Wait, Mom?
Hello, Pride. It is I, your mother, Alora.
Yeah, I think I can recognize my own mom.
How is it being the representation of the entire LTBG? What do you call it these days?
I don't actually know. Is it just the LGBT community or the LGBTQIA plus community? I'm so confused about my identity right now.
Here, child, allow me to help you.
I'm supposed to be the therapist here.
I'm your mother, and that is more powerful than any degree or fancy pair of glasses.
Hey!
Now, as your highly esteemed mother and guardian of all things in the universe, here is my opinion. This whole acronym business is getting out of paw. People are trying so hard to include everyone that they end up making the LGBT community feel less like a group meant for people who face similar oppression and more like an all-access party.
So it should just be LGBT?
Let's just go step by step. As
As discussed in a past video, the guidelines for being in the LGBT community are simple. One must either experience same-gender attraction or have gender dysphoria. So why do people even add all these other letters? Some people say that the Q is there to represent those who are questioning, or those who are queer. What? Queer is a slur. Just questioning yourself doesn't mean you're necessarily LGBT, and queer should never be included because it's a slur that has been extremely harmful to many more senior members of the LGBT community. The I supposedly stands for intersex. Intersex is a genetic disorder, not a gender identity. We've also already talked about how, unless you experience same-sex attraction or have gender dysphoria, being asexual is not LGBT either. And I'm assuming the P is redundant because pansexual is a synonym for bisexual.
Fear me, true scum, for I am Skylar, and I'm a trans girl without dysphoria.
So, you're cis?
Of course not. I'm a too cute, or someone who believes that you don't need to have a mental disorder to be trans. Being trans is a choice, and it is so fun. I love myself the way I am.
Hi Skylar, you're wrong.
I know you, Claudia. You true scum are ignoring the compelling evidence of...
You don't have any evidence, do you?
Gender is a feeling?
Well, this true scum did her biology homework. Basically, gender is defined by whether your brain has the physical characteristics of a girl or a boy. So even though I was born with male XY chromosomes, since I have a female brain, I'm a trans girl.
Do you know that for sure, though?
I do, because when your brain doesn't match your body, you develop a mental disorder called gender dysphoria. Something I was diagnosed with by my psychiatrist. This disorder can only be treated by transitioning to look and act more like your real gender.
Saying that all trans people are mentally ill is mean, though.
But sadly, it's true. I'm proud to be trans, but being so means that I face a lot of challenges throughout my transition. Because of two cutes like you, my insurance no longer pays for my hormones. They think that since some people say being trans is a choice, it's not medically necessary for them to provide me with access to the very hormones that make me feel better about my body.
Oh, that's not good.
There are now so many kids that say they're transgender just because it's become some sort of trend, and when two cutes, or cisgender people in general, take steps to change their biological sex, it then gives them dysphoria. So in the end, everyone suffers.
I guess being trans isn't all fun and games.
For sure. The only way to stop this cycle is to recognize that dysphoria is needed to be transgendered.
Fine, I'm a true scum now, and I'm a cis boy. I'm sorry for any harm I may have done to the real transgender community.
I forgive you. Ew, you smell.
I think it's these tissues I put in my shirt to make it seem like I had a chest. It's getting really sweaty in here.
Well, now that you've realized again that you're a boy, Pride, help! What's going on, Marina? Are you hurt? Just my brain. There's this boy who won't stop harassing me, and he's saying the strangest thing.
Oh, Marina, why won't you accept me?
Shut up, Trevor. I told you, boys can't be lesbians.
Why not? We're attracted to girls, aren't we?
Actually, the definition of lesbian is a homosexual girl, or a girl who's only attracted to girls.
Well, this is 2018. I can be a lesbian if I want to.
Your pronouns are a reflection of your gender. So if you say you're a he who's attracted to she's, you're a heterosexual man, Trevor.
Darn it! I was gonna be so special until you messed it up with all of your logic and facts.
Wait, Marina? Oh, hi Cameron from LGBT Club that I've never really talked to. What's up? So, I'm non-binary, but I think that I can be a lesbian. Didn't I just say why? But I'm biologically female, so doesn't that still technically make me a female attracted to females? Gender is totally different from biological sex. So, if you call yourself non-binary and a lesbian, they do kind of invalidate one another, right? That's like saying that your gender isn't part of your sexual orientation, which just isn't true. That does make sense, but I have no other word to call myself. In this special case, you have two options. You can either call yourself simply homosexual or gay if you want to be less formal. Or, and this is the only case in which I condone the use of a microlabel, you can refer to yourself as gynosexual, which means attraction to femininity. Thank you. I think I'll just call myself homosexual.